just ran the Fox body for maybe like 5 minutes, and then I gave it a little bit of gas, and the temperature gauge started to go up very slowly. So it appears as though the sending unit might have been the issue. I just didn't let it run long enough to give it time to actually show that it's functioning. I'll probably try it again just to see if it wasn't like a freak incident, but it's pretty exciting. Means I hopefully don't have to run any other diagnostics on the temperature gauge issue for the time being. We'll see though, fingers crossed. In other news, I finally got a set of ratcheting wrenches, if I can find them. So I probably should have gotten some of these a long time ago, and I was hoping to report that they were the magical solution to the issue with getting this nut off of the brake master cylinder so I could remove it from the brake booster. But neither the 14 or the 15 was too big, and the 14 I can't for some reason seem to get it onto the nut. And then and everything else that I've tried, it just hasn't worked. So I might just try and see about removing the brake booster, which I'm not thrilled about that idea, but if it's the thing that will help me get the master cylinder out and without me having to like light the brake booster on fire, I'm willing to give it a shot. So let's see how this goes. So I got a standard set of the ratcheting wrenches that arrived in the mail earlier than I was expecting, and I tried to use the I think the 9/16, and it also just it won't get on the nut next to the fender side of the brake master cylinder. I don't know what it is. I mean, it seems like, I don't know if stripped is the right word, but it seems like it's worn down in a few spots, and it's just no matter what I am able, the wrenches that I am able to get around, I can't turn, and the ones that and the rest of them I just can't get it around. So now I am trying to see about removing these lines. I'm able to get, I have some flare wrenches. They're specifically usually for brake lines. I'm able to get these two loose, but I'm working on these now. I'm gonna see if just removing these will give me a little bit more space, and maybe I can try to do something underneath. If that works, great. If not, then maybe I'll still try to remove the brake booster from, I have to loosen, I believe it's 4 nuts, kind of near where the pedals are. So either way, it'll be good if I have the brake lines out, hopefully. So a 10mm wrench worked on the bottom flare line thing. I'm starting to see some brake fluid coming out. Let's see if we can minimize the spillage. Okay, so I got the rear brake line out. See, I got both lines out. Now we'll have to see if this gives us any extra space to try and get that other nut out. We'll see. It's another day, and you might be wondering what the seat for the Fox body is doing in the garage. Let me show you. I removed it because I'm trying to get in here to remove the 4 bolts that hold the brake booster to the firewall. I've got 2 of them loose. The other 2 are impossible to reach. At least I'm struggling to find that perfect angle or something. I'm slowly being defeated by the different elements of this brake master cylinder installation. So I removed this plastic shroud that protects the steering wheel, and I have 3 extensions and a swivel head. Look at this. The socket goes all the way back there. That's what I needed to get one of the top nuts for the brake booster. Oh God, this is such a pain. I'm not even sure if there's a clear spot to the other one, but I guess we'll see. Okay, I finally got all 4 bolts out of the area, firewall area for the brake booster, and pulled a little cotter pin and released the brake booster from the brake pedal. I took some pictures to make sure I remember how to put it back together, and now I'm going to attempt to pull the brake booster out so that I can remove the master cylinder. The video that I watched that I kind of figured out how to do some of this stuff, it looked like the guy had a really hard time pulling the brake booster out, so I'm anticipating that this will not go well, very smoothly. So you can see quite a bit more space to maneuver. I don't know if the lack of stability on the part of the brake booster will matter, but let's see if we can make some progress. Okay, this is a brake booster and a master cylinder, a nut that will not come out. So you can see, got myself some space, although I do still need to pull out the factory proportioning valve so that I can do the port 15 right behind where it is. Probably do a little bit of cleaning up over there too. Oh my God. That whole process is exhausting. Ugh. This master cylinder nut remains the bane of my existence. I can't get, even with it completely out of the car, I can't get this 14mm ratcheting wrench all the way on it. The 15mm is too big. The 9/16 is the same issue as the 14mm. It'll kind of get on there like part way, and then when you go to turn it, it just isn't happening. I'm gonna try some vice grips. Ugh. I'm doing a voiceover here because either A, I'm an idiot, or B, my phone had a temporary malfunction. It didn't record the audio. Basically, I ended up using a dead blow hammer and a 14mm deep well socket. I managed to get the socket onto the nut that held the brake booster to the brake master cylinder, and then I used the hammer again to help turn the ratchet. Separated from the brake booster. I know I need to do some measurements, and I also need to do what's called bench bleeding on the new master cylinder, but before I do any of that, I probably need to get the car up on, take this on the jack and take this wheel off so I can get to the screw that holds the proportioning valve to the shock tower, and then I can pull this proportioning valve out and make sure that it's been gutted, since I have, I think I mentioned this previously, but since I have a aftermarket proportioning valve, the proportioning valve that came from the factory does not need to serve the proportioning valve roll. It just is there, and I have a nut like cap that will go on the end of it to hopefully prevent any future leaking onto the shock tower. So the saga continues. Wheel off. Got the wheel off, and I'm going to remove this nut. It's a 13mm socket. I did an extension just to give myself some space. So in retrospect, it made more sense to put the nut back on so that I can have some leverage when I try to loosen the brake line from the proportioning valve. Don't be stupid like me. The flare wrench that I was using did not work, but a regular 10mm seems to be doing the trick. Let's get this proportioning valve out. Crap. There is 2 more lines that I did not see. Okay. So those lines on the bottom of the proportioning valve are quite a bit of a pain in the ass. So I'm going to try and take this piece off, which I just loosened with a socket, a 19mm, and I'm going to pull it out, and I have a replacement for it that doesn't have an opening, and it's possible that a spring might come flying out if this was not correctly gutted previously. So no spring came out, but this is what the piece looks like that I just pulled out. So the new plug for the proportioning valve here did not come with an O-ring, at least the one you order from LMR. I think if you get it from Maximum Motorsports, they do give you an O-ring. I just managed to get, took me a little while, but I managed to get this one off of the old plug. So I'm gonna transfer this over here and try to get that back in here. So even if I don't end up pulling out the proportioning valve, I still need to do some work on the rust around where the proportioning valve is on the shock tower. So I'm gonna have to find a way to get some of that stuff out of the way and try and do it so that when I clean up the shock tower, I also clean up the holes for the hood hinge cups. So I use the Pore 15 all at the same time. So I just gotta make sure I'm all set in terms of any wire brush drilling that I need to do, any cleaning, and then the like degreasing and metal prep. So got a lot of stuff to do. Just need to make sure I'm doing it in the right order and as efficiently and effectively as possible. Seemed to fit on okay. Not a perfect match, but whatever. It looks okay. Oops. Gotta make sure I'm tightening it. So I made a little bit of progress yesterday in terms of cleaning up some of the rust on the shock tower and getting rid of some of the flaking. I don't know if you can tell from earlier in the video, but it's slow going. I'm hoping that I can get it to the point where it's okay to start applying the Pore 15 treatment sometime soon, the next couple of days, hopefully. And then I will also do the same for the hood hinge cup area on both sides. And then then I'll have to bench bleed the new brake master cylinder, probably try to find some new nuts to go on the master cylinder where it sticks to the brake booster, and then I'll have to bleed the brakes. So this whole process is probably a little bit more than I can put into one video, unless I want the video to be like an hour long. So I will be back with part 2 of the rust cleanup / brake master cylinder process. If you're still with me this far into the video, thanks for watching. And if you're new to my channel, you like my video, please hit subscribe. Just keep an eye out for the next video on the Fox body project and the continuation of the work on the brake master cylinder, etc. Peace out.